Good morning. You're watching Market Cafe with me, Shreyansi Singh and Snehi Shah on ET Now. And over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through news and updates from within the country as well as across the globe, tell you which stocks you should keep on your radar and tell you what the brokerages are saying as well. But before that, Snehi, we absolutely have to look at the moves that we saw coming in for the US markets.
Absolutely. And Shreyansi, I don't know if I'm reflecting our markets today. Hopefully I am. But, well, my outfit matches the move on Wall Street yesterday because what stellar moves after the Fed came out with its decision to keep interest rates stable. And stock futures climbed Wednesday night after the three major averages closed at new records and the Fed Reserve concluded its latest policy meeting. Now, futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial added 76 points or about 0.2%. S&P futures advanced roughly 0.3%. Nasdaq 100 futures also increased by 0.5%. But while this is on the futures point, let's take a look at what the spot moves were last night because Dow Jones on a spot basis up a solid 400 points, 1% uptick coming in over there. S&P 500 almost 1% up, 46 points uptick over there as well. Nasdaq, well, the clear outperformer yet again amongst all of those three indices, 200 points uptick coming there, 1.25% gains on the Nasdaq on a spot basis as well. Now, semiconductor stock Micron Technology jumped more than 16% in extended trading on better than anticipated earnings. Discount retailer Five Below slipped more than 12% after missing Wall Street expectations on both lines for the final quarter of 2023 as well as posting a weak guidance going ahead. Now, those moves follow a winning day on Wall Street. It sent all three major indices to new closing highs. The Dow and Nasdaq both climbed more than 1%. S&P added close to 1%. Those gains came as the Fed reiterated expectations for 3 cuts to interest rates this year. The central bank kept borrowing costs unchanged at its 2-day March policy meeting. Now, we'll be getting you more details about this later in the show as well. Small cap stocks outperformed the session with the Russell 2000 adding nearly 2%. So, well, a solid move coming in for the small caps on Wall Street, which is completely opposite to the small cap action that we've been seeing on our markets recently. And financials and technology stocks were also among those that took a sizable leg up. Looking ahead, traders will watch for data on jobless claims and existing home sales conditions due this morning. US timing, of course, and they'll also monitor earnings report from Darden Restaurants before the bell, followed by FedEx and Nike after the market closes. But while this was on the US markets, let's also take a look at what the European markets are doing. Well, mixed action coming in from European markets, and the DAX is up 0.1%, FTSE down flat, slight negative bias, CAC 40 also down 0.5%, and well, the Stock 600 is absolutely flat, no moves coming in over there, and well, as flat as it could be. So, well, Shreyansi, stellar moves from the US. Not much happening in Europe, but let's see how these moves on Wall Street pan out for us. Hopefully, we have a good day today. But with that, also take us through what's happening with oil.
Absolutely, and there's only gold that is shimmering right now because when you look at oil prices, you are seeing a fall coming in there as well. So when I'm looking at oil prices, they fell as the US Federal Reserve held interest rates steady and demand concerns continued to weigh. Now, Brent crude futures for May settled down 1.6%, around that $85 a barrel mark. And when I'm looking at WTI as well for April delivery, which expires on Wednesday, that ended 2.1% lower, around that $81 a barrel mark. And the more active May WTI contract, when you look at that as well, that settled down around $1.4 and was around that $81 a barrel mark. Now, Brent had settled at its highest since October 31st in the previous session, around that $87 a barrel mark, and WTI as well hit its highest since October 27th and was around that $83 a barrel mark in the previous session. But when you look at the US EIA and the data that's coming in from there, crude oil stockpiles fell unexpectedly last week, and this is as exports rose and refiners also continued to increase activity. Now, elsewhere, of course, Ukrainian attacks on Russian refining assets have also helped propel crude prices higher, and that is something that we're seeing play out because market participants are assessing the impact on crude as well as fuel supply balances. Now, when we look at gold, like I mentioned, gold climbed over 1%, and this was after the US Federal Reserve indicated that they expect to reduce interest rates by 3/4 or a percentage point by end of 2024, and this sent the dollar as well as treasury yields lower. So gold is traditionally an inflation hedge, but lower interest rates encourage investment in non-yielding bullion. So that is why you've seen such a move coming. And when you look closer at what the dollar did, the dollar index eased, and that of course made gold a little bit cheaper for overseas buyers, and you did have the 10-year treasury yield that also declined. So that's largely the handover coming in.
Well, absolutely. And with that, let's also take a look at all the important events to watch, because after the Fed has come out with its rate decision, you also have Bank of England coming out with their rate decision today. From the UK and from the US, well, we did tell you initial jobless claims will be one data point to watch out for. UK, Bank of England rate decision, composite as well as manufacturing and services PMI also coming out today. And from the Eurozone, you have the services PMI as well as manufacturing PMI data also coming out today. Let's shift focus back home, talk about some corporate action. Today is going to be the last day to buy the shares of Castrol India as well as Patanjali Foods to be eligible for their dividend. And in the primary markets, then you've got an IPO that's going to be making its G Street debut today, and that's Crystal Integrated Services. That will be listing on the NSE and BSE today, so we'll see how that one lists. Lock-in period is going to be ending for 4 recently listed companies: RR Cable, Suraj Estate, Happy Forgings as well as Credo Brands. When it comes to other events, then PM Modi's visit to Bhutan has been postponed due to poor weather conditions in Bhutan, so we'll get that updated for you. The Supreme Court will be hearing pleas challenging the EC appointment. European Union Summit will be taking place in Brussels today, and the ECB Economic Bulletin will also be released. So, well, all of these will be very important macroeconomic indicators to watch out for in today's trading session.
Well, and the biggest talking point this morning, outcome from the 2-day FOMC meeting, the central bank has held rates steady while sticking to its forecast for 3 interest rate cuts despite inflationary concerns. Now, Chairman Jerome Powell reiterated that a strong jobs market would not deter the central bank from easing. Remember, the officials have kept their benchmark rate unchanged for a 5th straight time. Chair Jerome Powell also said that surprising pickup in inflation in January and February had not fundamentally changed the Fed's picture of the economy. The central bank still expects inflation to continue to cool, though more gradually than it thought 3 months ago. Let's go across and listen in to an excerpt of the press conference.
The inflation data came in a little bit higher. We're strongly committed to bringing inflation down to 2% over time. That is our goal, and we will achieve that goal. Markets believe we will achieve that goal, and they should believe that, because that's what will happen over time. That the committee needs to see more evidence to build our confidence that inflation is moving down sustainably toward our 2% goal, and we don't expect that it will be appropriate to begin to reduce rates until we're more confident that that is the case. That we had made significant progress over the past year, and what we're looking for now is confirmation that that progress will continue. We would, of course, love to get great inflation data. We got really good inflation data on the second part of last year. Again, we didn't overreact to it. We said we needed to see more, and we said it would be bumpy, and now we have January and February. You know, we're looking for more good data, and we would certainly welcome it.
All right, well, that's some positive commentary coming in from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, and definitely the US markets have reacted to this commentary. Let's shift focus from US to UK. Some positive news coming in on this front as well, because UK inflation has come in lower than expectations for the month of February. Retail inflation came in at 3.4%, making it the lowest level in over 2.5 years. The fall in inflation is majorly due to cool-off in food prices, and on the back of this, FTSE closed flat yesterday, but we'll see how this inflation data impacts that index today.
And now let's also take a look at Bank of England, which is also expected to follow a similar trajectory when it comes to rate cuts. The central bank is widely expected to keep interest rates unchanged at 5.25%, but economists seem to be divided on when the first cut will come this year. The larger than expected fall in both the headline as well as core figures was welcome news for policymakers ahead of this week's interest rate decision, though the Monetary Policy Committee has so far been reluctant to offer strong guidance on the timing of its first reduction.
Alright, with that, let's shift focus to Asian markets and talk about what's happening over there, because the Asian markets are mirroring a winning Wednesday on Wall Street. Now, particularly the Japanese markets, where the Nikkei scaled yet another record high after Fed Reserve policymakers said that they still see the need for 3 interest rate cuts in 2024. Wasn't just the Nikkei, broader Topix index was also up 1.28%, also setting a new record higher by 1.4%. Nikkei as of now 1.3% higher, and a 535 point uptick as we speak.
Well, that's all about macros and markets, but let's also turn our attention to some stock-specific action then. Shares of American chip maker Micron soared 14% in after-hours trade. The up move followed a decisive beat in their second quarter earnings. Company believes that it is one of the biggest beneficiaries of the multi-year AI-led opportunity.
Back with the latest edition of Times Now Summit. Now, over the years, Times Now Summit has been championing pertinent national agenda points where India's leadership, leading thinkers and national influencers come together to define the action plan for India's progress. Themed India Unstoppable, this year we will focus on charting India's remarkable journey and its increasing influence on the global stage. Join us on the 27th and 28th of March in New Delhi and watch the who's who of the political corridors share their views. Do stay with us for all the highlights and all the action as the action begins here only on Times Now. Hi there, welcome back. You're still watching Market Cafe on ET Now. Let's take a look at how the Asian markets have opened up this morning, and well, a sea of green mimicking Wall Street when it comes to Asian markets. We've addressed Nikkei earlier, but it also merits one another look because Nikkei has hit a fresh all-time high as Asia markets climbed after Fed Reserve maintained its forecast for the 3 rate cuts while holding Fed fund rates at 5.25 to 5.5%. Now, on the back of that, Nikkei is up 1.2%, 479, almost 500 points uptick coming over there. The country trade data for February and the PMI flash data for March from the AU Jibun Bank is due later in the day. But well, positive sentiment at least as of now on the Japanese markets. Let's shift focus, talk about South Korea's Kospi because that also has climbed more than 1.5% to hit its highest level since April 2022. Small cap index Kosdaq also merits a mention because that is also up 1.5% as we speak. In Australia, the ASX 200 started the day with an uptick of 0.6%. It's right there, not doing much, up 0.5% to 36-point uptick coming in from Australian markets also after flash data from the Judo Bank showed that the country's business activity expanded at a faster pace in March compared with that to the prior month. Now, the country's composite purchasing manager index stood at 52.4, up from 52.1 in February, and well, that's panning well for these Australian markets as well. Let's shift focus, talk about yet another big winner when it comes to the Asian markets. Hang Seng up solid 1.5%, more than that in fact, a 275-point uptick coming in for Hang Seng, and Shanghai also comfortably in the green, 0.1% rather coming in, so rather flat moves but with a slight positive bias coming in for Shanghai. But well, nothing to worry about when it comes to these Asian markets because they're mimicking the sentiment coming in from Wall Street and are firmly sitting in the green. But with that, let's also take a look at how we closed yesterday, and we've managed to close just above the 21,800 levels at 21,839 on the spot basis, 21,920 on the futures basis, and implied open showing a solid gap up start, 22,075. Even when you look at it on a futures basis, it's a 164-point uptick coming in, and on the spot basis it's more than a 200-point uptick coming in. So while positive sentiments coming in from globally, let's see if our markets are able to hold on to that and well only gain from here. Shanti, I hope it's only upwards and onwards from here for our markets today.
Absolutely, and it does look like, based on what Nifty implied is penciling in, that the markets are going to be mirroring the color of your dress and not mine. But
Hi there, welcome back and thanks for still staying tuned to Market Cafe. You're watching ET Now. Now, our guest editor for the week is Tata Power MD and CEO Praveer Sinha. We discussed a slew of topics ranging from green energy solutions to India's net zero targets. Let's hear out snippets from the chat we had with him earlier. Listen in.
The thought of generating clean power, the thought of bringing clean power to Mumbai, the transmission system, I think that it was itself very innovative at that time, very disruptive at that time. And I think Tata Power always believed in doing things first. And most of the things that have happened in the power sector, the first mover advantage has been with Tata Power. So I think there has been thought leadership and there has been action leadership of Tata Power right through, and we will continue to do that.
Dr. Sinha, that's Tata Power of back then. What's happening in Tata Power right now? Because, much like autos, this is one sector which is going through very, very serious disruption and a lot of changes perhaps on a minute-by-minute basis.
Absolutely right. I think energy transition is a big thing, and energy transition is a big thing because it is the need of the hour, the climate change, sustainability. All this requires that we move away from the earlier way we used to produce power to the new way that we can produce power. And the first thing that we need to do is how do we move towards clean energy? But having said that, we need to find good solutions because clean energy cannot be intermittent clean energy. Most of the time, we have seen clean energy is for the solar is for a few hours or the wind is for a few hours. It's not there right through the year. So how do we make it more reliable? And for that, I think the transition has to be that we need to get to storage, whether it is the chemical storage or electrochemical or mechanical storage in terms of pumped hydro. So I think there is a necessity to make it 24/7, and some of the research globally that is happening, some of the work that is happening globally, which we are trying to implement over here, we are very confident that by end of this decade we'll have very, very attractive solution, and this will become a reality that we will have 24/7 clean energy solutions, with whether it is pumped hydro or battery storage or some of the other alternatives that we are looking, including the SMRs, these small modular nuclear reactors. So I think you will see huge transition in the coming years.
Well, that's the word coming in from our guest editor, but onto an ET Now exclusive then. We learned from reliable sources that Defence Ministry is setting aggressive targets for domestic defence equipment manufacturing. My colleague Prakash Priyadarshi filed this report earlier. Take a look.
Yes, we are learning from our sources that the defence sector is likely to be on the top of the agenda for the next government. Sources are informing that the Defence Ministry is working on a two-pronged strategy for the defence sector. The first one is with regard to enhancing domestic defence equipment manufacturing, and the second one is finding new potential market for equipment export. We are given to understand that the Defence Ministry has started working on first 100-day agenda for the new government after Prime Minister's instruction, and fresh positive indigenization lists are also being prepared. We're given to understand that this time Defence Ministry is identifying such defence equipment, which is a very high-end defence equipment that will be manufactured within the country. So far, Defence Ministry has announced 5 such lists, and now a fresh list is being prepared. Along with that, we are also given to understand that under second strategy, this time around Defence Ministry is finding new potential market for defence equipment export. Some of the potential market which is already under discussion is African nation, and some new market will be elaborated going forward. We are also given to understand that the Defence Ministry has set a target to achieve rupees 50,000 crore defence equipment export target in next 4 years and rupees 1 lakh crore target thereafter.
All right, Prakash, thanks for all of those details. Now, despite a recent report labeling Delhi as the world's most polluted capital, the Environment Minister Gopal Rai contends otherwise, asserting a consistent decrease in pollution levels since 2015. Rai emphasizes a decline in particulate matter 10 and particulate matter 2.5 levels, highlighting 206 days of improved air quality last year. Here's what he had to say.
दिल्ली एक ऐसा राज्य है जहां पर लगातार प्रदूषण के स्तर में कमी आ रही है। इसमें लगातार आप देखेंगे कि लगातार PM10 में भी जो है वो कमी आ रही है और PM2.5 में भी वो कमी दर्ज की जा रही है। अभी हमने ये देखा है कि इस तरह से पिछले साल पहली बार हुआ है 2015 के बाद कि 365 में से 206 दिन ऐसे रहे हैं जो अब तक के हाईएस्ट हैं। 2015 के बाद से, जब से इसकी मापन हो रहा है, कि 206 दिन 365 में से रहे हैं कि जो बैड क्वालिटी से बाहर रहे, यानी जिसमें हवा की गुणवत्ता बेहतर रही है। तो दिल्ली के अंदर सुधार हो रहा है।
Moving on then, MG Motor and JSW Group have unveiled the world's first fully electric sports car in India. This cutting-edge vehicle, powered by dual motors, can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.2 seconds. With features like LED lights, scissor doors, the Cyberster represents a leap forward in electric vehicle technology. My colleague Aishwarya Patil caught up with none other than Sajjan Jindal at the event. Let's listen in to a slice of that conversation.
Opportunity that we are having with MG. JSW and MG, actually they bring a lot of synergies together. MG is already an established brand. It's a 100-year-old brand and already established in India. We are very passionate about cars, so we want to bring in the new energy vehicle. MG has a lot of technology already they have, and JSW can bring the manufacturing excellence in the country. So therefore together we can really do an excellent job and can grow much faster than individually that we would have done.
So we speak of JSW's legacy, it's been steel, and your passion has been to make cars, as you mentioned earlier. Apart from just the EVs being manufactured in the country, what are the other avenues that we're looking at through this partnership?
No, so EVs and all the new energy vehicles we will be manufacturing. And in this joint venture, we will be focusing on the passenger vehicle primarily.
So could there be a possibility of hydrogen vehicles as well?
Well, the technology is available, but it's still, I think, early days, and hydrogen vehicles will come up eventually, but whether it will come immediately, I'm not sure. And maybe I'm more excited about the battery technology, which is now solid-state batteries are coming in next couple of years. We will see solid-state battery, and the battery cars would probably do 1,000 kilometers in one single charge. So thereafter, you don't need any other technology really to do that. So, but you know, a lot of R&D, a lot of research work is going on in development of quality battery and also more efficient cars and stuff like that. So things are really evolving very, very fast. And before we will know, we will see that this becomes a mainstream opportunity.
Well, that's the word coming in from Sajjan Jindal. But while the pressure grows on some airlines in India, leading to layoffs and shutdowns of operations, Tata Group-owned Vistara has given a handsome bonus to its employees, including pilots. The bonus is in addition to the annual performance-linked incentive. What is the reason behind the full-service carrier opening its purses for employees? ET now Sumit Chaturvedi is joining us with details to exactly that question. Sumit, take it away.
Well, this is something which has been announced by through email by CEO yesterday. Ex gratia between 1 lakh to 2.5 lakh will be given to employees. 6,000 employees. It's mainly for pilots as well. Well, pilots are also getting it. The reason is that we all know Air India and Vistara are going to get merged in the next 1 to 2 months' time. So there was likelihood as per the management that there could be some dissatisfaction when it comes to pay structure, with Vistara employees not accepting Air India pay structures. Some pilots recently were angry about it, showing their dissatisfaction. So leading to now increase in bonuses ranging from 1 lakh to 2.5 lakh rupees. It's in addition to annual PLI bonus which they get. It is happening for the first time in history of Vistara, which will merge into Air India very soon. 6,000 employees will get this overall bonus. CEO has written to employees saying that the crucial time coming because of merger, many employees will have to wear 2 hats, and that's why this ex gratia amount coming. So yes, at a time when SpiceJet is laying off employees, Go First is still not confident of coming back. Getting bonuses is a rare thing in aviation world, and it is happening now.
Thanks, Sumit, for all of those details. But with that, it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some stock-specific action.
Hi Hi there, welcome back. You're still watching Market Cafe on ET Now. Now, as promised, we'll take you through some stock-specific news and updates coming in. And onto some brokerage notes first. Citi is maintaining a sell rating on both Petronet LNG as well as NMDC. Ashesha is joining us to tell us why. Ashesha, tell us why this view coming in from Citi for both of these stocks.
Well, yes, first up, let's talk about NMDC, where Citi has maintained its sell stance on the stock with a target price of 180. In fact, they've opened a 90-day negative downside catalyst watch on NMDC. Remember, iron ore prices have declined a whole lot in the last couple of weeks. They've now fallen below that $100 per ton, and they believe domestic price cuts by players like NMDC has become imminent now, as domestic prices are now at more than 25% premium as compared to export parity. They say every $100 per ton change in fine prices changes EBITDA for the company by as much as 4%, and it reduces fair value for the company by 8 rupees per share. They also believe that iron ore prices are likely to be volatile going forward, and that perhaps further downside is not completely out of the way. As far as Petronet LNG is concerned, Citi has maintained its sell stance on this counter as well with a target price of 220. They see signs of rising competition in the industry. Asian spot LNG prices have risen nearly 18 to 20% in the last 1 month, and that is expected to weigh negatively on the stock. Upcoming increase in ONGC's gas production in the next few months also could limit upside on the stock. So on both these counters, they are maintaining their sell rating. And on the back of these reports that have come in, both NMDC and Petronet LNG will be in focus today.
Thanks, Ashesha, for that update. But while you're with us, cement counters will also be in focus today on the back of a Macquarie note which says that demand could moderate around general elections this year. Note sounding mild cautionary bells. What do you think of that?
Yes, we have a report that has come in on cement counter as well from Macquarie. So on Ambuja, they are maintaining their neutral stance. They've gone ahead and hiked their target price to 608 from their earlier target price of 501. For ACC, also they've hiked their target price to 2,592 while they are maintaining their neutral stance in the stock. We have Shree Cement, Dalmia Bharat, Ramco Cement. On all of these counters, they've hiked their target price. For Dalmia Bharat, in fact, they've cut their target price to 2,233. And for Ramco, they've cut it to 876. They say near-term earnings upside catalysts are missing. Remember, cement prices have declined for the 5th consecutive month in the month of March. The last price hike was seen in the month of October, and as a result of which they believe that upside catalysts for earnings growth are missing from here on. They see demand moderation around the general election season. Structurally, demand continues to remain robust, led by infrastructure demand, housing and private capex. But all in all, a cautionary stance that has come in for Ultratech Cement, they are maintaining their neutral stance. But for Ambuja, ACC and Shree Cement, they've gone ahead and hiked their target price.
Ashesha, well, thanks so much for taking us through that. But here's a whole list of all the other stocks that will be in focus today on the back of their specific news flows. Let's start by looking at Himadri Specialty Chemicals, because that company has acquired a 40% stake in Invati Creations for 45 odd crore rupees. The next stock in focus is going to be RVNL or Rail Vikas Nigam, because the company has emerged as the lowest bidder for the SCRHQ Electricals Southern Eastern Railway for the design, supply, erection, testing and commissioning for upgradation of electric traction system. The execution time for this order is going to be 18 months and the cost of work is roughly 167 odd crore rupees. Next stock in focus will be GE Power India. The company has received a purchase order, 2 purchase orders in fact, one from Bharat Aluminium Company Limited for the supply of the ENC boiler firing system, and the second from Nuclear Power Corporation of India for the supply and installation of the excitation system. And well, so that's a positive news flow coming in over there. The next stock in focus will be Kirloskar Electric Company. The company has entered into an agreement to sell the ATS on March 20th, which is yesterday, with respect to the proposed sale of the company's immovable property at measuring 1 acre situated in Hubli. Next stock in focus is going to be Crompton Greaves Consumer Electricals. The company has secured its 4th consecutive order from solar water pumping system from Hareda, which is in Haryana, under the PM Kusum scheme worth over 9 crore rupees. The total orders accrued till now from Hareda stand at over 65.6 crores. And another letter of empanelment has been received for 1,000 1,000 solar pumping systems in Rajasthan from the Commissionerate of Horticulture in Rajasthan. The total value of letter of empanelment received amounts to approximately 85 crores. And lastly, watch out for PB Fintech in today's trading session because that company has forayed into the payments business, has approved the incorporation of a wholly owned subsidiary named PB Pay Private Limited to carry out the business of payment aggregation. So I'll watch out for all of these stocks in today's trading session.
Well, that's a lot of stocks that we absolutely have to keep our eye on, but there's also the futures and options roundup that my colleague Ansh is standing by with.
Right, let's start with Nifty first. As you can see in the chart, Nifty actually touched 1 month low level in the previous session. However, we saw very good pullback from that low point to close slightly in green. However, we are seeing some resistance at around 50 DMA level, which is around 21,900, 930 level. So index need to close above this to be positive again. Whereas in futures, we are seeing open interest increasing by around 0.15%, indicating mild short build up here. So a bit of cautious signal. Whereas on option front, we are seeing highest total open interest of call writing at 22,000 psychological mark, indicating resistance around this level. So even if we go above 21,900, 930, we may see some resistance around this psychological level. Whereas on downside, we are seeing put writing happening directly at 21,500. So it's like 300 points below the current price. Also today we have weekly option expiry, so we may see some volatility into the market. Moving on to Nifty Bank. As you can see in the chart as well, Nifty Bank seems to be hovering around that 50 DMA for 4th consecutive session, and this is the 9th consecutive decline in Nifty Bank. However, it is not a big of a bad news because it has declined only around 3.5% in these 9 sessions. In index options, we are seeing call writing happening at 46,500, indicating traders not expecting Nifty Bank to go above this level. If you check FIS action, in the previous session, they covered around 300 contracts of long. They added 9,500 of short. So net to net, we are seeing addition of around 9,800 contracts on downside, due to which the total long has slipped lower from 32.6% to 31.2%, which is the lowest level in 35 sessions, indicating FIS also getting a bit cautious in index futures. Also in cash also they have sold, so they are getting negative in the market.
Well, expiry day today, so lots to watch out for on that front. Ansh, thanks so much for taking us through that. But while you're with us, also talk to us about Prince Pipes, right? Because that stock is going to be in focus today. It has acquired bathware brand Akel for 55 crore to expand its presence in that segment. So Ansh, tell us more about this acquisition and how this is going to accrue positively for Prince Pipes.
Right, so Prince has acquired Akhil brand and factory for rupees 55 crore. This includes right to brand and a large piece of land of around 8 acres for future expansion and development. Now Akhil currently offers 9 ranges and 250 SKUs, and from now on all the bathware from Prince will be branded as Akhil by Prince. This change aims to enhance their product offering and customer experience as well. Experts believe that with this investment, Prince can revitalize the Akhil brand, although it's not as popular right now as it used to be, but there's potential for it to regain its former status.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ansh, for that update coming in. Let's also take stock of what brokerages are saying at this point. Now, when we look at Cummins India, HSBC has come out with a note and they've upgraded the counter to buy from neutral. They've also raised the target to 3,300 from 2,600, and what they're saying is that the move to emission norms will be margin accretive. Now, they're also penciling in solid growth outlook across end domestic markets when it comes to Cummins India. And in terms of the exports, they see exports bottoming out. And in terms of earnings, they're looking at strong earnings outlook with high visibility. Now, moving on, IRB Infra, Kotak Securities has come out with a note and they've upgraded it to add from sell. In fact, when you look at the target, they've also raised the target to 65 from 60 rupees. And they're saying that adding strategic partners at private InvIT is something that they're seeing coming in. Amended model concession paves way for BOT. And that is something that they're talking about IRB Infra. When you look at MGL as well, Jefferies has come out with a note on MGL and they have a buy rating on the stock. They've raised the target to 1,540 from 1,515. And that's the word coming in on MGL from Jefferies. They're also talking about how the margin hit is cushioned by falling feedstock costs. And soft LNG markets also provide a lever to protect margins. That is something that they're saying about MGL. And they're also saying that correction at this point offers a favorable risk-reward ratio. So that's the word coming in on MGL from Jefferies. But which are the ones that you're looking at, Snehi?
Well, yes, Shreyansi, two more brokerages on my radar this morning, and that comes from MK, and that note is on Motilal Oswal Financial. They've gone ahead, initiated a buy rating, and the target for this stock they have kept at 2,000 rupees. Now, they're saying that the company can capitalize on multi-decade wealth creation story. Consistent compounding is being overlooked, and amid the cyclicality noise, and there's enough safety margin and valuation as well. So positive view coming in from MK for Motilal Oswal Financial. And well, lastly, Godrej Consumer is also the one to talk about, because Goldman Sachs has released a note on that this morning with a buy rating, but they have gone ahead and raised the target to 1,375 rupees per share from 1,325. That's a 50 rupee uptick in the target price coming in on that stock. Now, multiple initiatives have been coming to fruition in FY25 is what Goldman has to say. There is a new HI molecule also which is likely to be a game changer. They expect gradual growth over the next 3 to 4 quarters, and profitability is likely to improve in Africa and USA. Liquid detergent, that segment, and air care can sustain growth of more than 20%. So that's the word coming in from Goldman Sachs on Godrej Consumer. So well, bullish notes coming in this morning. And with that, viewers, I'm afraid we're completely timed out on this edition of Market Cafe. But well, while Shreyansi, me and the team that put the show together bid you goodbye, you stay tuned, because the market will take all the action ahead.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.